Hostile response detected. Terminating threat.
So we are talking about the movie Weaponized, which is a 2016 movie originally called Swap. And this one is directed by Timothy Woodward Jr., stars Tom Sizemore, Mickey Rourke, Michael Paré, Johnny Messner. So it has a relatively good cast here. And the story is a fairly ambitious, I have to say, for a kind of a B-movie story, although the execution is somewhat lacking. So without giving too much away, basically it focuses on a world that's the near future, and there's a kind of a large kind of terrorist attack that's happened in the US, and the response to that is this technology being created that allows people's consciousness to be transferred into someone else. And this is being developed by this kind of shady private military organisation, which is run by Tom Sizemore, who seems like he's on drugs in this film. I have to be honest with you, I don't know if that was the way he was playing it, or it just happened to be something that was caught on film, but nonetheless he seems completely out of it, certainly in the beginning portion of this film. And he hates British people in this. He compares, oh yeah, we've got to kill the motherfucking ragheads, we've got to kill the Nazis, we've got to kill the British people. Like, what? Where did that come from? Well, anyway, so but getting back on topic. So yeah, so he creates this technology basically which is used to kind of like transfer consciousness, with the idea being you can maybe put a consciousness of a soldier into a terrorist and obviously take out that terrorist cell. Of course there are nefarious things going on here, and it's up to kind of lone cop played by Johnny Messner to kind of peel back the layers, find out about the conspiracy, and ending up in a kind of a sci-fi showdown at the end basically. So on the subject of sci-fi, don't be kind of fooled by the cover. The first hour of this is more or less just a kind of straight low budget B-movie cop conspiracy film. That's really it. There's very little sci-fi here until you get to the last kind of 20 minutes, and that really is where you'll see any kind of effects and kind of like more kind of sci-fi ideas really seen on screen at least. So on the positives of this film, I have to say I thought the plot was quite ambitious, and it is nice to maybe see B-movies, especially kind of the sci-fi ones, try to be somewhat original, even though you could argue this film isn't completely original. This kind of thing has been kind of seen before, obviously kind of like Total Recall to a certain degree. You had that kind of the Ryan Reynolds one quite recently, which I can't remember the name of, but nonetheless I did find it was, you know, not your typical run-of-the-mill monster just running around killing people and stuff like that. It did have a little bit more of a layered plot to it, so props to that. But the execution here was so poor, I have to be honest with you. I don't know much about Timothy Woodward Jr.'s work, but it seems like the direction here is fairly amateur. For example, the camera seems to kind of linger on shots for too long, and the way the actors deliver their lines, it seems like he's just literally taken the first take, because some of them seem very uncomfortable, especially from, I have to say, some of the more seasoned actors here. But like I said, I think maybe these more recognisable names have maybe just come in for a day or two of shooting, and he's kind of just whipped through them basically. But overall, I have to say the acting, for the most part, isn't particularly fantastic. There are some okay performances for a B-movie kind of performances. I have to say the standout for me was John Fu, who basically is really only a small part. He's just kind of like a computer hacker, but I believe he was one of these kind of the actors were in the Street Fighter Legacy kind of shorts. He was quite good. I quite liked him. He has quite a good action scene as well. But the action here is all kind of fairly generic. Obviously, the kind of the robot thing you'll see in the front, a really small part of this film, so don't be thinking this is kind of like a RoboCop film, like I certainly did. So it's a poorly executed film based on what I would say somewhat of a good idea. But it's kind of boring, because the first hour drags. It just drags on with nothing really happening. Nothing that you were expected to see in that first hour. Just more of your kind of typical kind of low rent cop movie basically. So overall, I have to say this was somewhat disappointing, although I did feel it had some good ideas. I only give this movie a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.